we get to after Joey Gallo is killed. So Frank is like a late teenager when Gallo is
George
killed.
Bush did it, dude.
Yeah. And Gallo. That was another thing about Gotti Jr. was that he just like hates George W. Bush and all politicians, and he is saying like, you know, people say my father's a bad dude. My father never sent anyone to Iraq to get killed. You know, my father never ordered.
Shit, Gotti Jr. Shout out to Biden getting us out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, it was messy, but he did it. Well,
the boys are back in town.
The boys are back in town. The Taliban, that is.
Fucked. Whatever.
Vlad is like, okay, so this is your first time here, Taliban, so I want to start from the beginning. He starts every fucking interview the same. He's like, okay, so this is your first time here, so
the
only start from the beginning.
The only Vlad TV interview I've ever watched was the one with Frank DiMatteo. I know, like, he does all the gangsters. I want to watch the one on Larry Mazza because
that one's fucking excellent.
Well, because I've met Larry Mazza before.
So break down for the people your experience meeting Larry Mazza. So Greg actually worked on a documentary on John Gotti Jr. called Father and Me or something like that.
Godfather and Son.
Godfather and Son.
Gotti, Godfather.
It's kind of like the Cat Stevens song, but just Italian.
Yeah.
And as part of that, I guess they had to obviously interview a lot of people in the life, and one of them was Larry Mazza, who worked really closely with the Grim Reaper, Greg Scarpa, known top echelon informant.
Yes.
Who was also on the Persico side of the Colombo War.
Right.
Which would explain, going back to the point about Persico potentially being a top echelon informant, why I think like Scarpa would have stayed loyal to him, because if they were both top echelon informants, because if you really think about it, like it really seemed like Vicarina was like winning.
Yeah, so we could talk we could talk about Carmine Persico a bunch. So Carmine Persico, he got the nickname the Snake because he was originally with the Gallo faction, and then it turned out he was an informant for the other side, for the Colombos, and he was setting up his fellow crew members to get murdered. And he was giving them information, and eventually it was found out, Larry Gallo, there's an assassination attempt against Carmine Persico that fails, and Carmine Persico completely defects to the Colombo faction. That's where he gets
before Gallo was killed.
This was before Gallo was killed. Yes, this was actually while Gallo was in prison. Still, it was Joey Gallo's brother, Larry Gallo, who was running the gang at this point,
and he got murdered.
No, he died of lung cancer.
Oh, okay.
In like '68, he died of lung cancer.
I just assumed he was murdered because I knew he died. So
no. So that's how he gets his nickname, the Snake. Frank DiMatteo has another book about Carmine the Snake that I actually haven't read. The only ones of DiMatteo's books I've read are this and then the Albert Anastasia one. But Carmine Persico, he's known for basically being this ruthless gangster. A lot of the stuff with him kind of relates to what's called the Third Colombo War. So the first Colombo War would be Larry and Joe against Joe Perfacci in the early 60s. And then the second would be the late 60s, early 70s with Joe Gallo against Joe Colombo. Yep. And then the third one would be the early 90s with Carmine Persico against Vicarina. And after the commission case, Carmine Persico is sent to prison.
But he's still the boss.
He gets life in prison. He gets 100 years or so. And a lot of people in the gang it's not really a rule. It's kind of an unwritten rule. But like as we were saying, like the rules don't matter.
In the gang or in the Colombo family?
In kind of the mafia in general, is that if a boss gets life in prison, he's supposed to relinquish his title and let somebody else become the boss. Because basically, if there's no chance of you getting out, then what's the point of you being boss? And it's kind of like an unwritten rule that you're supposed to relinquish his title. Carmine Persico didn't do that. He said he didn't care that he was getting life in prison. He was going to run everything from prison. So Vicarina decides he's going to be the boss. And most people agree with Vicarina. And kind of the main guy on Carmine Persico's side is this guy named Greg Scarpa, who's known as the Grim Reaper, who Larry Mazza, who there's the interview with and who I met, was very close with. Who Larry Mazza, it's another story of like you see why this guy would join the mob, because he kind of becomes best friends with Greg Scarpa's son, Greg Scarpa Jr. And he kind of just grew up in, you know, he wasn't poor. He didn't need to steal to survive, but he grew up in this culture of the mafia where it's seen as a career path.
Well, what I saw from, because I did watch the Vlad interview with Larry Mazza, and his story is that he was working as like a stock boy at like a grocery store who would also be sent to like make deliveries to people's homes. And
he has started having sex with Greg Scarpa's wife.
Yeah, he started delivering to this house and there was the typical story of like the lonely housewife who was older than him, and he starts an affair with her, and then he finds out that she's actually married to one of the most gruesome mobsters in the neighborhood, Greg Scarpa, who there was rumors about Greg Scarpa being gay, no?
I mean, I think that a lot of that is because Greg Scarpa later died of AIDS.
But also because, like, he okayed Larry Mazza being his wife's girlfriend, which kind of does not make any sense if you're a mafia guy. Like, wouldn't you just have that guy killed?
Yeah,
because he did know about it.
Yeah, I'm not sure, like, I know people
like, in other words, his wife would have been his beard. What do they call it?
I definitely, like, have heard that before.
Yeah,
I
can't remember where
I don't know, like, if there's any truth to that.
I don't know.
Or if it's just, like, you know, they're homophobic mafia dudes and they know that the dude died of AIDS.
So it's like this, yeah, exactly. Oh, right. So it's like, yeah.
I don't know.
They were listening to DaBaby a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if there's truth to it or if it's just DaBaby.
Did you see Kanye brought out DaBaby?
Him and Marilyn Manson?
Yeah.
Yo, fuck that.
They were like, album. Oh, what? R. Kelly was busy that night. Or did you post that?
I posted.
Yeah, that was funny.
So anyway, the theory was, because it did turn out that Greg Scarpa was a long-time FBI informant, and with this new document coming out of Carmine the Snake possibly being an informant, you basically see that one side of this war has basically the backing of the FBI. And while Vicarina's side is much bigger, they have much more of the businesses, they have much more of the power, it's Carmine Persico's side that prevails. You know, so...
exactly. Which is like, what was really powering them.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
It seems like the government.
Yeah. But that's, that's...
Also,
Frank DiMatteo he wasn't really involved in any of that.
Tommy Schatz, who is a Farmingdale guy. Well, he's still in prison, but he's going to get out soon. He was involved in the hit that took place at the cafe on Broadway in Massapequa,
right?
Which we should not name.
No.
But and that was a long time ago. But it's very clearly still a mafia place.
Yeah. Well, you drive past it, and it's like 6 old Italian dudes.
Yeah. I actually worked like down the block for a while, and there is absolutely no question.
Yeah.
Because you see all the types of people that come in and out of there. There's like one guy who's just like sitting on a computer in there, like clearly like punching numbers. Anyway, that's probably more than we should say.